I am Boba Fett. Follow me, friend.
I see why they call you the best bounty hunter in the galaxy.
You can't beat me. I'm Boba Fett. I'm the greatest bounty hunter ever. Oh, yeah. I didn't see that one coming, did you? I was flying around with my jetpack, just smoking rebels with a laser. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Han Solo was all, hey, wait. And I'm like, oh, I've been waiting for this for a long time, Solo. Ba-bang. Oh, yeah. A little rope-a-dope, huh? Left, right. Oh, down goes Solo. The big bad Wookiee be growling in hell now. I even put one between Skywalker's eyes, right between those pretty baby blues. But then Jabba the Hutt was all, oh no, this guy's too badass, man. So then 80 Jedi showed up. I took out about 67 of them. Oh, you thought I was over there, but guess what? Over here. Well, let me just take this bad boy off. Oh, he's even better looking without the helmet.
Hello and welcome to Fennec and Fett-ish, a book about the Disney Plus series, miniseries, the Book of Boba Fett. Who watches podcast?
You have
I'm
book
Travis
on the
Fishburne.
brain. You just said this was a book that we're doing, which
It's a book.
I love that idea. This is a book.
This is an audiobook written in live time. I'm Travis Fishburne.
I am Alex Brunel.
I'm Dustin Meadows.
And that's when I would have said the actual title after that. All right. So
It's been 6 months since a podcast of any sort, right? More? Longer? I have no idea.
Longer, because what was Falcon and Winter Soldier's last thing we did, right?
That's the
No, it
last
was
thing
Looney
you
Tunes.
did. Yeah, last thing.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
you did, we didn't do that. That's right.
Yeah, I can't remember when the Looney Tunes podcast
No, it was Clifford was the last one that
Yes.
Dustin was on.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that was about 7 months, because that was right before I moved out here.
July 5th. That was just before I disappeared off to work in Idaho and then work on Reno 911, The Hunt for QAnon, currently streaming on Paramount Plus, which I received no money from that promo, but it maybe if more people watch it, then we get to keep making Reno, which would be so good. Anyway, we're here to talk about the Book of Boba Fett.
Which is a series that was a surprise based on everything that we thought we knew, a little over a year ago.
Right. This was announced like about 1 year, like almost exactly a year ago, right?
Yeah, a little over, yeah.
As we were filled in on this. Robert Rodriguez directing, and Dave Klein shooting, continuing from season 2,
Yes.
episode 5 of The Mandalorian.
I was wondering,
great.
as I was like rewatching The Mandalorian season 2 and this, I'm like, did we talk about the fact that Dave Klein shot this?
We
'Cause
did.
That's so exciting.
Because I am like very, remind listeners, viewers, humans, who Dave Klein is. Dave Klein's first cinematographer credit was on Kevin Smith's Clerks in 1994.
He shot this character, Snowball.
Yeah, he shot Snowball. But he was a classmate of Kevin and Scott's and like kind of just became their de facto DP and shot everything up until Dogma when the Weinsteins decided that he wasn't high caliber enough to keep shooting Kevin Smith's movies, which is like, are you kidding me? It's Kevin Smith movies. But like they reconnected years later. He went out to shoot a lot of other really good latter era Kevin Smith stuff and got into some TV work, and then he's worked his way up that ladder and wound up on friggin' Star Wars. That's the thing. Still the thing, and we'll get into it because I have thoughts. But still, my favorite thing about Book of Boba Fett is that it is a show being directed by Robert Rodriguez and shot by Dave Klein. That's still my favorite thing about it. Unfortunately, I don't like the show much more than I like those aspects of it. But we'll get into that. Are we going scene by scene? Are we doing that? Are we?
Yeah, we can.
What are we doing?
Yeah, no,
What's
we
our
can
format?
ditch that format if you want.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
Because I've got it's a general thing. I have not written out huge notes the way I used to.
Okay.
I have not. It is not the way that when I approached Watchmen, and I was like, I've got to take extreme details on every single thing.
It's
This
like we're
is,
doing the same thing, but without underpants on now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or overpants.
Just nothing below the waist.
No pants.
So, Alex, you can lead off because you kind of teased how
Okay.
you feel about the show thus far, what you saw.
Well, I'll start off by remarking what I remarked while watching the show, which is it sure is convenient of Boba to start having these nightmares again in chronological order at about the same time that we start hanging out with him. How nice of him to dream of his whole life in the times that we don't know him. How convenient.
Yeah, it's the walk hard approach.
Yeah, it's exactly the freaking walk hard approach.
But
Yeah.
Fett's got to remember his whole life before he goes on.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah, the back to tank framing device, I mean, it's neat, but not necessary at
No,
all. They
here's
could
the
have just
thing.
done flashbacks Lost style. You
yes,
know?
if it was just flashbacks, if you never said the dreams are back, if just that was gone, it would
Yeah.
be like, okay, I understand why we're doing this, and like I'll let it serve the narrative. But to like that lowers the bar so much just by making them dreams for me. And
Spice dreams.
the spice dreams. The thing that made Mandalorian so great at the outset, in my opinion, was the fact that no one asked for it and no one was expecting anything. And what we got was something that really not only was very cool, but really enriched the Star Wars universe, gave us some new characters, new settings, new things to think about that were way more compelling than other recent things we've been given to think about in terms of live action Star Wars stuff. And what it wasn't much of was fan service. At least the first season wasn't. There was more of it in the second season, but again, that fan service like really did work to serve the show overall. And that now we are segueing into this is fan service, the TV show, and I really am having trouble seeing it any other way. Because like what do we want in Boba Fett? We want him to be badass, and we want to know everything that happened up until now. Well, here is a show for you. It's just it's too all of it is too convenient story-wise, or for it to not be transparent. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, everything that happened in it, I was not really surprised by.
Right.
We've like all theorized if Boba, survived the Sarlacc pit, how would it happen? And then they show it, and you're like, all right, we did it. We saw what we.
Seeing it was
I've
not
always
much
thought
more
about.
compelling than just hearing him say, "I had to cut my way out of that Sarlacc's gut." Like
Yep.
either that, just one sentence is as effective, or like, being enslaved by sand people who like, I don't know what really the authors of these things want us to feel about sand people at this point. Like, are we trying to humanize them? Are we trying to villainize them? I don't know what Star Wars is wanting us to think of sand people at this point. But just like
I mean, I think throughout the course of this show, we'll feel, I don't know, maybe a little different. I think we've already feel a little differently after the Mandalorian episode.
Yeah. And my other thing is, and I think I've said this on other Star Wars podcasts we've done, but the first things we are told about Tatooine are about how remote it is, how much it doesn't matter, and how much no one comes there. And I am pretty positive that Tatooine is the center of the freaking galaxy, given how much time we spend on this goddamn planet. It's the most remote planet that appears in, 7 of the 9 movies or something like that?
That's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
At least 6 of 9? And
Yeah.
now
then in the movies that it doesn't appear in, they create planets to make it feel like Tatooine.
Totally. I get it. The desert planet is a great setting, and I also understand it plot-wise. It's, Sarlacc pit taking over Jabba's palace. Like, it totally makes sense. I think when that crystallized for me when we saw yet another new amazing monster on Tatooine, and it's like, what an unbelievably biodiverse nowhere planet. Where we have Rontos and Dewbacks and Krite Dragons and Banthas and whatever this Harryhausen thing is.
Yeah,
which was
Desert
very
Goro
cool.
from Mortal Kombat.
Yes, Desert Goro. Also has Desert Goro. And the Sand People dogs, which have names that I don't know what they are. I'm sure that
Yeah, they just look like the dogs from Predators.
Yes, they look exactly like that. Yes. So these are my gripes with Boba Fett, and the worst part of it all for me is like it's still very enjoyable for me to watch. Like I am still being served as a fan. I am just when I think about it critically, I'm just like, come on, give me a thing that I know you're capable of giving me.
Yeah,
That's
I can see that. I really enjoyed it more than I thought I would, based on just the idea of a Fett show. I enjoy Fett, but it's, after we got the Mandalorian, I'm like, oh, we're getting, kind of
Right.
what we thought we wanted, but in a better way.
Yes.
And so the idea of Fett getting his own show, this will be kind of interesting, but really I was kind of sold throughout it, and I enjoyed it maybe even more so than the Mandalorian pilot episode, which I know is crazy, but
It is.
no, I really enjoyed all the aspects of it. I enjoyed that Harryhausen creature. That was
I thought the creature was great. I loved that scene.
Yeah, the creature is one of the highlights of this episode.
It just made me think like, wow, there's still something about Tatooine we don't know, which doesn't seem reasonable at this point. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm glad they did not just say, let's do another Krayt Dragon. Let's do another something we've seen before.
Well, right, because that's the temptation, right? It's just like now they're writing themselves into the corner of like what else happens on the planet where nothing happens.
Yeah.
You know?
And also they created a creature that I thought just like looked really cool, as opposed to I would say half the aliens and creatures in the sequel trilogy, which I don't think are really cool looking for the most part. There are a few select here and there.
Babu Frick.
Yeah.
Which is really just, I think Babu Frick was also the same actor who played Babu Frick, I believe, played the little tiny alien in the head and the guy in Men in Black, right? That's the same little alien actor. The guy, never mind.
Oh, you're saying
I'm making as if the alien is a real entity who has appeared in the films Men in Black and Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Only those two films. No, but I agree. I thought that monster was very cool. I liked it.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in the middle. I was kind of just whelmed by the episode. I definitely agree with a lot of points you both made. Especially, I like that we're seeing how we got there. I don't like that we're framing it as a dream sequence for some reason. That seems kind of dumb and limiting, and just wholly unnecessary. But like the monster was cool. I really liked the opening scene where it's just the Corleone wedding from The Godfather, essentially. Like I liked them paying tribute. I thought that was good, and the creature was great. I think this show would be a hard sell for anyone who isn't already on board with this.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like The Mandalorian, like people who didn't give a shit about Star Wars suddenly gave a shit about Star Wars.
Yes. Right. And this show has Max Rebo in it, which was so good. It's just so good.
I am always happy anytime purveyors of the galaxy's finest jizz music are brought back into the into the picture. And I liked the assassination parkour scene. I thought that was done really well.
Yeah,
totally. The action was great.
Honestly, I thought that was honestly probably the most compelling part of the episode. Like that's the part that if I was trying to get somebody to care about the show, I'd be like, okay, well check out this cool space parkour sequence.
Right. I mean, I think that for me, I would be happier if the show continues to lean more into just being the action show and does less of the things that are annoying me. But because like that, like it was shot great and it was directed great. Those are like, that's the thing that Rodriguez has always been really good at. And to get him, I don't know. I just want to see Robert Rodriguez direct more Star Wars action. Like,
That was the part of the episode that felt like Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Too, was that whole sequence. The rest of it felt like could have kind of just been anyone
Totally.
else.
The rest of it felt absolutely director for hire. Like it felt absolutely just like, but in the scenes where it was obviously like his element, those scenes were the best.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, during that whole scene, I was just kind of in amazement because I know, we all know that they use the volume. They also, have some sets and locations, exteriors that they use. But during this whole thing, I'm like, how did they put this together? How does this look this good?
Yeah,
It
looks
really
great.
all did look like location work.
Yeah,
Like even
how did
more
they
so
blend
than a
this
lot of
all
the
in well?
Mandalorian. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think visually it's, exceeding the Mandalorian in some aspects, especially compared to that first time we went to Tatooine and they showed the Tusken Raiders. And I did not think that was a very compelling visual of those, because it definitely looked like them on a stage, but it's looking a lot better. The only weird visual in this episode was at nighttime when Boba's running away from the camp. It is a weird looking shot of him running through the dark.
I'm sure it did kind of look weird now that you mention it. Yeah. Yeah, those are just the limitations of the volume, I guess. Because after a while, you're right, it does like at times feel like the same stagey, beautiful stage, but same stagey space. But that's like any show that's shot on stages. That's not a knock. That's just like a factor of production.
I think it's, also fueled by the fact that we've been shown the magic trick of how they do that.
Right.
And now that we know the trick, we're looking for all the seams of like, oh, look, this here and that there. But I think otherwise I'd be completely blown away and be like, how are they doing this?
Yeah, I mean, like the visual work on Boba Fett continues, like you said, continues the high bar set by the Mandalorian. It's all absolutely like theatrical quality visuals and effects. It looks so good. The sound was great. I like that Ludwig Göransson is continuing to do this show.
Yeah, his score was really good.
Listen to it.
Even more Ennio Morricone vibes on this episode in particular, with like the choruses and the people yelling and stuff. I thought that was really great.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to give proper credit here. Ludwig Göransson is helping along with the show. He's doing a lot of the themes, but I think that the episodes on a whole are being scored by a guy named Joseph Shirley.
Oh,
interesting.
My bad.
Well,
Apologies,
he
Mr.
did a
Shirley.
great job. And Göransson can go jump in a sarlacc pit then.
Looks like he's probably been Göransson's understudy because his credits are all of Göransson's things.
He probably started, if he's getting credited, that means that Göransson isn't doing what a lot of composers do, which is just kind of hire assistants that are their ghostwriters and then don't get them anything on the publishing or, blah, blah, blah. But it seems like if he's actually got a composed by credit on this stuff, then he's getting credit and money where credit and money are due.
Yeah. Maybe he was busy doing the Venom Let There Be Carnage score when they filmed this.
I forgot that he did that. I remember seeing
both
that
Venoms.
Man.
Yeah, I think Göransson's doing a good job keeping busy these days.
Yeah, which makes me so happy. I mean, like, because I mean, like Travis, you too. We fell in love, and I don't know, Dustin. I don't know if how much Community you watched at the time or how much you.
Oh, I watched it when it was on.
Okay,
yeah,
because
he did all the music for them.
His music on that show is magical and perfect and wonderful, and it was that led him to collaborate with Donald Glover, which led him to producing all of the Childish Gambino records, which led to anyone knowing who Ludwig Göransson was, which is just like, that just makes me so damn happy that like all these people like grew up and got to do a Star Wars. Like even Donald Glover did friggin' Star Wars, like
Community
that's the dream.
Just bred talent.
Yeah,
because
it really did.
The Russo brothers, who are like, Marvel's golden boys.
Right.
Everything.
Did they have a Star Wars that they wanted to do? Is that a thing? Oh no, Feige has a Star Wars. Feige wants to do a Star Wars. Okay, that's a that's a divergence, but
we all want to do a Star Wars.
We all
But
want to do
also,
a Star Wars.
you got Favreau as well, who established the MCU.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's bringing over all these other directors. I could see the Russos doing one of these shows because he's already gotten Peyton Reed to do one.
For sure.
Taika. So
I mean, I'm sure that, I would also think that he was, involved in getting the Russos involved with Marvel to begin with. I would think he would played some role in that. I'm making a guess, but I would think so. Yeah. Anyway, what else about this show that I like? I thought the performances were very strong. I thought Tamora Morrison was very good.
Yeah, he was phenomenal.
Remind me the Ming Na Wen.
Ming Na Wen is Fennec Shan.
So good.
She was great.
So believable as the muscle.
Oh yeah, she's phenomenal in this.
You got Jennifer Beals in there as Garza Fwip.
Yeah, she just hasn't aged at all. She just looks gorgeous no matter what.
That
even
is
as a Twi'lek.
I will acknowledge that is true. At the same time, will remain to be seen how well I can tolerate her in this show. She just kind of bugs me. There's no real good reason for that. I watched the entirety of the original run of the L Word, which she was in all of, and either her character or her performance annoyed me, and that was too long ago for me to really discern what was what in my memory. So,
fair enough.
But I am surprised to see Jennifer Beals in a Star Wars.
I was kind of genuinely surprised by all of their guest casting, because we get Matt Berry as the torture droid.
That was so good.
He's playing what should be 8D8, but
yes, it is. It is 8D8, isn't it?
I mean, visually it is, but he's credited. The droid is credited as UK2B.
Interesting.
So,
yeah, I think
a different one.
Yeah, I think that's got to be a way to explain the voice change. They wouldn't just recast, because probably who played
8D8 never spoke.
Did he not?
No.
I thought he had some super robot-y voice.
No, he was just
I'm thinking of the Gonk droid screaming.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was the one making the Gonk droid scream.
Right.
What, isn't that the droid that talks to 3PO in Jedi? Or is that a different droid in Jedi?
No, that was a different droid. That was the droid with the brown head and the Jawa eyes kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what I was thinking too, though.
And then we get Dave Pasquesi as the mayor's Twi'lek major domo.
Yeah, he is the one guy I was not really thrilled with the performance.
You thought that was too over the top?
Yeah, I thought that was a little over the top. And here's another thing that I really appreciated was, and it's weird because there are two different things happening in the same episode with this species, but he is, a Twi'lek, and he's got, I've noticed in the Mandalorian as well, and with Ahsoka's head tails, they're a little shorter than maybe you see in a feature film or an animated. And so they have these shorter head tails. And he also doesn't have filed teeth, which male Twi'leks have. And I'm like, this is weird to see a male without filed teeth. Yeah. And I don't know how many other people thought that, but
well, how much canon is that, and how much is that the old Star Wars reference guide pre-Disney?
I guess so.
I mean, but that maybe there's subcultures of Twi'leks we don't know about. Maybe he was maybe he was born into a life of luxury and never had it. Never filed his teeth and never trimmed his. No, so he should have the long. No, he had short tentacles.
He had short. Yeah, he had the short tentacles.
Grooming
Laku is what they're called.
Right.
Yeah, and but here's the other thing: is in this same episode, the thing I liked about the Jennifer Beals character is her head tails were the proper length. They were the length of a Bib Fortuna or an Ayla Sakura. I'm like, so they can do this.
I guess I gave up on noticing the head tentacles because Ahsoka's changed so much depending on what this show was or what she was doing, that I just kind of assumed that it's just a design thing and whatever looks best they're just going to do, and it doesn't really matter because biology is fake.
Yeah. I liked Pasquesi as that character. I will say I agree in that I feel like his character is tonally inconsistent with everything else in the show.
That's kind of why I liked it.
Yeah. Well, and the next thing is at a glance, I thought it might be him before you even get the close-up, but then I heard him speak. I was like, that sounds like Dave Pasquesi. And the only reason that I recognize his voice is because me and my fiance, we just watched. We binged Veep like 6 months ago.
Oh.
So, which he's a fairly major character in there. So that's relatively fresh in my head. Gun to my head, I couldn't tell you by voice if the other Sonic guy played a character in this show. TJ, whatever his name is, the guy that he does improv with.
Yeah. I don't think so. I haven't read about that, but maybe I'm wrong. But perhaps in a future episode.
Yeah.
Maybe
he was the Rhodian.
Maybe he's the Rhodian, yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of Mos Espa and that life. And it's also maybe because I'm playing Fallout New Vegas for the first time ever right now.
That's a fun one.
But like it feels a lot like that. It's like, I'm going to go in this building and see what's up with my empire. I'm going to go in this building and see what's up with my empire. And I am into that. I am also into, I fear that this is a little too retconny of Boba Fett as a character. It's not in as much as how they've recontextualized him in The Mandalorian. But, like Jabba ruled with fear, I intend to rule with respect. I like that very much conceptually. And I would like to see that play out. And, we're reminded that, like, he will still just, like, kill you at the smallest provocation if he wants to. Like,
yeah,
did very well to remind us of that.
But also at the same time, both, it's not 8D8, but the UK2B and Fennec both wanted him to just make examples of those Gamorreans.
Right.
And he decided not to.
That's true. But he also knows, like, that's just free labor. They're just right there.
Yeah. Well, and then they save his life like 3 scenes later.
Yeah.
Also, I guess if he killed them, who would he be sending the example? It would be like making the example in front.
Right, for other,
right,
for subsequent Gamorreans. Like,
hey, droid, go tell all my enemies what you just watched me do in the privacy of my palace.
What was the talk about something else? I had another thing I liked about the show.
So Dustin brought up the jizz music.
Yeah.
And there was also a jizz carrot that they used to wake Boba Fett up, the Tusken Raiders.
Wait. What?
Which
was like
weird.
smelling salts, but with jizz.
I don't know what it was, but it was like this carrot that they squirted something into.
I thought it was a worm.
Oh, was it a worm?
I thought it was
sense.
like a little grub or something that they like popped, and like I love that. I love that the thinking there must have been like, how can we make smelling salts really gross and in universe? Oh, what if they pop a grub into his mouth and it smells and tastes bad? Yeah, that was very upsetting.
Yeah. I mean, also, throwing cold water on someone has almost never failed to instantly wake them up.
Well, they don't have cold water.
I don't know why we're overthinking.
That's true. No, cold water, that's like, we're on Dune, basically, at this point.
Oh,
like,
sorry. They got to dig up one of the water pumpkins or whatever they are.
Yeah, yes. They have to go digging for water pods. Another new aspect of the Tatooine biome. Cool.
Oh, there's plenty of water. You just got to dig for it.
I do like I like the Bacta as a concept that Boba like needs to sleep in Tupperware. Basically, it's like that episode of is that the first episode of Erie, Indiana? I think it's the first episode of Erie, Indiana.
Yeah,
where
I know what you're talking about.
Where there's a whole group of people that are keeping themselves fresh in Tupperware at night.
What a great show.
But yeah, I like that. Like dream nonsense notwithstanding, I like that as a thing. I like that we have his weakness there. And we know what that is.
I like that he was being dragged by the Banthas at one point.
Yeah.
And if this was a George Lucas written Star Wars, he would have thrown in one of those 3PO lines. Like, this is such a drag.
Yes, that would have been. Oh yes. Okay. Speaking of dumb Lucasy nonsense, did you guys notice that the scene from Attack of the Clones that's in this episode is a little bit reshot?
Yeah, they used an alternate take.
I did not notice that, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an alternate take. I think the intro shot, I think that is computerized, like, new shot.
The shot of Geonosia?
Well, there's
Or no, it's Camino, right?
No, it's Geonosis, and it's 3 shots in The Mandalorian, where it was 1 shot in Attack of the Clones, and there's 1 shot in Attack of the Clones that this is basically just Boba with the helmet, like looking at Jango's helmet.
That shot is like brand new that I think they made.
Right. Well,
I think there's.
Oh, right. He runs in. That's got to be new. And then
when he runs in, I think that's just a different.
You think?
Angle.
Because there's a credited body double for him though.
Oh well, that would be on the
there was a young Boba
reverse
credited.
Shot of like over his head.
Over his head, that could be the helmet
that's
shot is new, but I thought it was so interesting to more or less acknowledge what that moment lacked within its original context and give it that weight. Just by we got to just do this a little bit better. It's the same thing. Like aesthetically, graphically, it's the same. It's the same kind of like dumb prequel aesthetic, and it does stick out like a sore thumb in that moment in that way. But the moment doesn't feel as goofy as it does in Attack of the Clones, and it's like a very subtle change.
Yeah, I just thought it was archival footage.
Yeah. So
when they were searching through that footage, they found old takes of NSYNC in there too.
Oh my God, are we gonna get release the NSYNC cut?
That would be awesome.
Where is that? Release?
It exists. It's in there somewhere.
It must. You release the. I love that footage has never been shown anywhere. Like that hasn't even been like celebration. Like. Here's just the raw footage of NSYNC in Jedi robes on a stage. Like, no one wants to see NSYNC in the wardrobe.
That's where Star Wars fans draw the line.
I don't know if I have more to say about Boba Fett. I had some thoughts about the recent commodification of the Star Wars Holiday Special in ways that are unexpected. But I don't want to diverge into that.
Other things I liked the Trandoshan. And he
Trandoshan was very cool.
Pelt.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
The Trandoshan was great.
Yeah.
And I think I read that was Robert Rodriguez that voiced it.
Oh, was it? Nice.
Yeah. So somebody played it physically, but I think Rodriguez recorded the dialogue, that line, which was a great line.
That's great.
Or as I'm going to refer to them, as the Bosk.
The Bosk.
Yeah. No Trandoshans or Rhodians. It's Bosk and Greedos. That's what we're doing.
I was about to say,
Got it.
I had not heard Greedo yet. And whenever you say Greedo, I also have to play this.
Yes, I bet you have.
There it is.
That was
Hot dog.
a much longer one than I intended to play. I intended to play this one.
That reminds us all of why McClunky is so bad, because it went right there. We all know where it is. No, one of the things I wanted to say I liked about the show very much is I thought that, like you said, the alien design work on this was better than the recent live action films, which I generally agree with. I thought the costume work in this episode in particular, the alien costume work, was amazing. Like I thought the Sand People looked amazing. I thought the cantina scene, everyone in there looked fantastic. I don't know if that was the original Max Rebo or if that was like a resculpt, but like the weird folds and everything that looked so kind of puppety about it are still there and still look so great to my eyes. So huge props to the wardrobe and makeup and effects people that are still going strong at Lucasfilm, because wow.
Yeah, I will say this, watching this episode, this is the first time I saw the Tusken Raiders. I was like, oh, these guys look kind of badass now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that they're wearing black. So it's just like a different tribe, and
gotta be out by Mos Espa, I guess.
Yeah, it tracks and makes sense because we see Boba when he's introduced into the Mandalorian, he's wearing black Tusken Raider robes, and it's like, oh, this is all making sense.
And we we got the origin of how he got a gaffy stick, just like we got the origin of Han Solo's name, things we didn't need but now have.
Yeah, but where did he get those dice? And where was Doc Evazan and Ponda Baba before New Hope?
Where is the violent adventures of Doc and Ponda? Give us that show.
Yeah, give us
Every
a series.
every one of the 12 systems, we get an episode.
That's it. It's
there we go.
12 half hours, very violent. Like give that to Tarantino. Let's have Tarantino make the Doc and Ponda violent adventures 12 episode miniseries.
Yeah, I want to see where all those death sentences came from.
Show us all the different horrible things. They all have to be like, it's like one's explosives, one is just like straight shredding people with machine guns, like different ways to horribly murder a lot of people.
I think the first one needs to be an accident, and they just embrace it.
They get a taste for murder.
I'd be into that.
What if it's just like Tucker and Dale versus Evil, and they just keep killing people horribly on accident? And then by the last one, they're just like, all right, well, we're wanted men now, so I guess we're just going to lean into this. Let's tough talk every person we run into, and the first time they do it, they get their arm chopped off.
Yes. Oh, okay. I like that. Yeah. That's kind of the Robot Chicken approach.
Yeah.
It's like leading up to the scene as it appeared in Robot Chicken.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So we could do that. By we, I mean Disney. You could do that.
I will say
Robot Chicken played a much bigger part in the intro I made than I intended it to, and then I just leaned all into
The
it.
intro is mostly Robot Chicken.
It is.
Is it just the Breckin Meyer as Boba Fett stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Which they could have just put Breckin Meyer in this show, and I wouldn't have had any issue.
I would be fine with that. He needs something to do post Franklin and Bash. I will say, you know what would have made the flashback sequence with the Tusken Raiders a lot shorter is if Anakin had just found him.
That's true.
Yeah. Hey, Anakin, the men, the women, and the children, looks like you missed some. He slaughtered some of them, not all of them.
Yeah, and I like that. While I was watching this the second time, I was like, you kind of see where this is going, of him being embraced by the Tuscans and everything, being a part of their culture. Obviously, there are quite a few movies that are probably influential. I found a lot of similarities in a movie called Little Big Man with Dustin Hoffman.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's got similar things going on.
Yeah, it's essentially kind of the same vibe as like a Dances with Wolves Avatar type. The idea of an outsider kind of being integrated into an indigenous tribe. Except with Little Big Man, it's actually real Native Americans.
Yes.
And not a metaphor for them. Yes.
Yeah. Other cool things, we get the pilot droid from Star Tours. It looks like he was like dealing cards or something. Mm-hmm. Then we get Constable Zuvio again. He's showing up in Mos Espa. Which, for those of you who don't know, Constable Zuvio was a character.
I didn't even notice Constable Zuvio.
Yeah, you have to look for him, but he's in there. He's way more visible than he is in The Force Awakens.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Remind the human population of Earth who that is.
Yeah, Constable Zuvio was going to be the law marshal of Jakku. And he was one of the first action figures that they released for The Force Awakens. And then that movie came and went, and people were like, wait, where was he? And people kept watching, and they're like, I still don't see him.
And then that toy became the Prince Shizor of that toy line, because he was just, kids don't want that toy. I wonder if I walk into Target right now if I could still buy a Constable Zuvio toy.
I saw Constable Zuvio not too long ago at a Walgreens. So, yeah, it's still happening.
I wonder how many kids got Constable Zuvio for Christmas this year.
And
There
then
was nothing else.
just ran away from home.
It was $1, but hey, it says Star Wars. Yeah. So they moved him from one desert planet to the original desert planet, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Yeah. So episode 2. What do we have 7 of these coming at us? Is that what we have?
Yeah,
7.
7.
And Rodriguez is doing what, 3 or 4 of them?
I don't have the
I
list
think
of-
he's doing 2.
Oh,
if I
2?
remember from
Okay.
what I read. And then I know Favreau's doing 1, Filoni's doing 1. I think I saw Bryce Dallas Howard's name on that list as well.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be interested in that episode. I mean, you know. Yeah, so I'll be interested to see where it goes. And I hope it doesn't spend too much longer doing dumb fan servicey stuff. I mean, like, and you know, I'm willing to give it a pass as the show goes on too. Like, you know, maybe that's just the first 2 episodes that are super heavy on fan service, and then we get into like what makes Jennifer Beals interesting in this show. You know, because all we know is she exists right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
I will say this one, I think another thing that a reason I didn't like it as much as the first episode of The Mandalorian is it didn't like leave us with like a big mystery at the end of the episode. Like it ended in the past on stuff that we already know how it turned out. And the only real question that we have right now is like, obviously, who is the mayor, and is that the person who sent the assassins? Probably.
Right.
So that's kind of like the only real reason that we feel compelled, because we know what happens after Boba Fett gets away from the Tusken Raiders,
Right.
because it's brought us to this point. So who cares about that stuff?
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, and we'll see. I'm for it.
We shall see.
You know, I know I complained a lot about it, but that, like I said, those are just my complaints. I am still the fan, and I am still being served.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they're doing a bad job with the fan service. I just think that it is almost exclusively so far fan service.
Oh yeah. And I think too that, I mean, and it was bound to happen, because I think Marvel's kind of hit that point now where it's kind of that feeling of diminishing returns with just how saturated it is with stuff in this universe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I loved Loki, and I liked Hawkeye. But yeah, I feel what you mean. I still haven't seen the Eternals, and I haven't gotten to see Spider-Man yet.
Eternals is fine. Spider-Man's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to Spider-Man. So this show comes out on Wednesdays. We'll probably be continuing to do the show on weekends, maybe, or just whenever we can. I don't know what I mean, I know some of what my upcoming work schedule is, but not a ton of it. So
Yeah. So we're not going to be super hot on top of it. We're not going to be one of those shows that's live reactions at 3 a.m. on a Wednesday.
do people do that?
No, thank you.
Are people
Oh,
doing
I'm
that?
sure. Yes.
Oh, it's nuts. Before I moved out here, when I was still in Ohio, my roommate would get home from work the day that an episode of like Mandalorian or something had dropped, and was already watching like recap videos on YouTube that had posted 2 hours after the episode had aired.
Wow.
Yeah, it's no thank you. I don't need to do that.
I wanted to say about the Star Wars Holiday Special real quick,
Yeah.
because there was a Life Day comic book put out this year, which I didn't read yet. There's a Life Day comic book put out, and Trav, you sent this picture of, which I don't have on tap, which I should, but they're selling Life Day orbs at Disneyland now, and it honestly just makes me wonder if Disney can't release the holiday special. If there's like something that was in the contract language where like that special remains in the vault, because I can't imagine another reason why they'd be monetizing something that they're not taking off of YouTube.
Yeah. Very true. And yeah, there are certain aspects of that special that have been, you know, officially released in some capacity, like the animated feature.
Right.
The Carrie Fisher song was released as a bonus on a CD of a book that I own.
Was it?
Yeah.
Holy shnikes. I would be I gotta find a rip of that because I want to know if it's like if they had a tape of it or if it was just, does it sound like it was lifted from a tape of the holiday special or does it sound like a that's a question for like Alex Brain.
Yeah, that's an Alex Brain question. Also, I think even at the time I had it, I'm like, I don't have a CD player. I don't think I've listened to it. I just have it.
Well, I will have to investigate that.
Yeah, it's from the Star Wars Vault book, which was from 2007. So I don't know why I didn't have a CD player at the time, but.
Well, hey, next time you're out here, we've got one in the car, so just bring it with you.
Cool.
There you go.
And we will listen to that and only that the whole time.
So wait, but that's from what year did you say that's from?
07.
So that's pre-sale though. So
yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and even Carrie Fisher singing along in the Star Wars Holiday Special. Wow, that's wild. I did not know this book existed. Okay. Something for me to think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just a musing that was in my brain recently. Oh, and if you got either one of you guys, my mom was going through old stuffed animals in my house in Pittsburgh and found 2 more Star Wars Beanie Baby things. R2-D2 and Salacious Crumb. So if one of you guys wants those, you're welcome. Actually, I might keep Salacious Crumb, but when you guys can have R2-D2,
I own
Salacious Crumb is the one that I would be interested in.
well, you're getting the corn doll.
I'm very excited about the corn doll.
There was also I don't know how many people remember the Korn album Issues, and on the principle of the 4 covers it was released with. This is just information that's still in my freaking brain. The main one was of a rag doll, and they mass produced that rag doll because, you're gonna. And I bought one at the time because, I'm gonna. And it's still got the price tag on it. I think it was $9.99.
That's actually very reasonable for corn merch.
Well, consider inflation over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So there's that. But
I mean, even for the time, $10, that's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I could afford it in high school, so
there you go.
But yeah, so corn.
Cool. So when we start talking about corn merchandise, that's when we start to wrap it up.
This is where
we've did a lot of episodes on talking about
ours.
Yeah, this is not Dustin's new metal podcast. I apologize.
Nope. Yet.
So we will be back next week. So until then, Alex, where can people find you?
Twitter at Alex Brunel, Instagram at Alex Brunel, and you can watch Reno 911: The Hunt for QAnon on Paramount Plus and learn the secret of who Q is, at least according to the Reno 911 cops. But watch it so that they make more Reno, and I get to keep doing it because it's fun. Thank you.
Very cool. And Dustin, how about yourself?
You can go to DustinMeadowsComedy.com to see what I've got going on, to check out 2 upcoming dates for shows, one of which is most likely going to be canceled because we keep screwing up COVID. You can also check out my previously mentioned new metal podcast, New Metal Who Dis. We're back with new episodes finally on Spotify, Google Play, all the podcatchers and stuff. And if you're lucky, you might be able to run into me at a Century City AMC just trying to mind my own business and watch a movie. Don't talk to me.
Very nice. You can find me at Travis Fishburne on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, I guess. And also the show, you can download each episode as a podcast on any podcatcher of your choice. Please subscribe, leave reviews, leave feedback of any kind. You can reach the show at whowatchespodcast@gmail.com. And so until next time, pack your things. We're leaving.